Hey, this video is all about the spine. Just a quick intro of how to move it and how to get going in moving your spine. We're going to use 3 different base positions, and all you're going to need is a foam block or a pillow to sit on. And this is how the spine ought to move. That's how the spine should move from point A to point B. There's other variations to move. However, what I was looking for is moving from my tailbone to my head and back from my tailbone to my head, from flexion into extension, or from cat into cow. And this is a cat-cow movement that you commonly see in yoga, except we're going to use a few different types of tension to engage our core and engage our backside to help control the movement. Now, a healthy spine moves from point A to point B through every segment of the spine. We have 24 vertebrae, and we ought to have good movement, individual movement between each piece from point A to point B. The spine and the rib cage are the center of the human body, and we have to move well through the spine and the rib cage in order to have quality movement throughout our body. It dictates how we move and how we breathe and how we transfer weight from one side of our body to the other. We want to be more efficient and better at moving, so we have better quality movement, not only for exercise, but also for regular activities like walking and breathing. If we don't have this system down, then we're going to slowly build compensations upon compensations, and they're going to slowly make their way more presently in our lives, and then one day we'll wake up and start to wonder why we are stiff and why we have so many stiff areas that are harder to move. The best route out of that is to have a daily mobility practice, a daily breathing practice, where you can get in tune and connected to your body. And moving your spine, breathing, and your rib cage are the foundation to it. So this is the first step in a little series that you're going to do. So let's follow along. The first thing you're going to need is, of course, a small block, and we're going to lie on the back. You can bring a pillow with you for underneath your head, and this is to understand your hamstrings, also known as the back of the legs, and your lower back, and how they feed in. So the block between my knees is not necessary. It just adds a little bit of feedback and a type of constraint that we can start to use to feel our body better. Pillow underneath our head prevents us from using too much of our neck. So to begin, you're going to get heavy in your feet and then drag your feet towards your butt. Of course, they're not going to move. Pretend like they're super glued to the ground. And all I'm asking you to do with that drag is contract your hamstrings. So if you check or feel or have awareness, you should be able to feel the back of your legs popping on. So control that, and then you're going to feel how, with your hamstrings engaged, your pelvis wants to tuck, and it's going to pull underneath just like that. And we're going to keep tucking the hips and slowly lift the hips off the floor, segment by segment. This is to control your lower back and the lower back muscles that flex your spine. We're going to get up as high as we can without any uncomfortableness or pain, and then you're going to lower yourself down to the ground piece by piece. Notice my hips stay up as I lower my spine to the floor. My tailbone is going to hit last, and then I'm going to rinse and repeat. And with each rep, I'm going to get better and better at this with more control. We're going to do a few reps going at the same speed. Really starting to feel the back of the hamstrings kick in. Driving those heels into the floor, keeping the feet engaged in the ground. And if you cramp like me, you can just let that leg go out and relax. So the next position is going to be quadruped, also known as hands and knees, and it is cat-cow. But like I said before, we're going to use a few different cues that are different from yoga to get the spine to work better and harder. So get your yoga block, put it between your knees, and squeeze it gently. The yoga block should be relatively the width of your hips. So not too small, not too wide. If you have a hard time feeling your adductors, you can get it wider if you need. So place your hands into the floor, and the first thing we're going to do is flex the spine. So in this position, I'm going to root myself to the floor, fingertips and the heels of my hand are reaching into the ground, and then I'm going to push my hands forward, push my knees backwards. So I'm trying to split the ground underneath me as I push the floor away. And as I continue to push my hands forward and my knees backwards, I'm squeezing the block gently, and I'm going to think about contracting my hamstrings, and it's going to allow me to control my tailbone. And I'm going to move into extension from point A to point B. Nice and slow and controlled. So I'm in this position, and it's important for you to check your position. A lot of people end up like this, or this, or this, or some variation, as opposed to pulling their chest through the exercise and getting their spine to extend straight up. Make sure your shoulder blades are not doing the work of your spine. If you have an issue with this, there is troubleshoot, and we can work through that. So again, you're going to be pushing your hands forward, pushing your knees backwards, and again, lead with the tailbone. Tuck the tailbone, use those hamstrings, and follow the spine all the way up into a flex position. Unwind again from the tailbone, and we're going to do this about 10 times. The whole time I'm pushing my hands forward and my knees backwards. Okay, now that we've done that about 10 times, you're going to think about dragging your hands. Well, not just think, you're going to actually do it. You're going to drag your hands back towards your knees and your knees towards your hands, like you're squeezing the ground underneath you. As a result, you should feel your abdominal muscles contracting, and now you're going to do the same thing. Continue to drag the hands towards the knees, knees towards hands, and tuck the pelvis underneath, using your hamstrings again, and rounding. It's going to feel a lot different. And for you folks with less body awareness, maybe it's going to feel the same. But as you get more skilled in movement, you start to notice things and you use it as a skill. All right, so now that we've done that about 10 times, that is the spine wave, and that is how you segment your spine from point A to point B. Now we're going to move the neck, and we're also going to move the thoracic spine in rotation. But before we do that, let's troubleshoot this position. If you have wrist issues or if you have shoulder issues, that is more of an individual problem, and we can work on that in a separate video. So what I'm looking for you to do is just rotate your biceps in and out in this position. As you do that, you'll gain some more awareness of the shoulder joint. And now you're going to turn the biceps all the way forward, drop into your shoulder blades, push them forward, drop, push, drop, push. Now the whole time your biceps are turning this way, so you should feel some good torque in the shoulder as you push and drop into and out of this position. What is this doing? It's giving you some more body awareness of your shoulder blades and how they play into your spine. Most of the time, I see people with very bad, or I should say not good, spine awareness, especially of their upper back, because that's the area that gets the stiffest the most and also gets turned into one chunk, meaning one chunk of movement. So when they move, it's like, I mean, I can't even demonstrate it. It's like it's like a block. It's like gung, gung, gung. Okay, so what helps with that and why that your body's doing that is because your body's gotten really good at using your shoulders and your shoulder blades for something that your spine should do, and vice versa. So you're going to continue to just feel this movement. So now when I turn my hands all the way out, draw my hands down towards my knees like I'm dragging, I should feel my shoulder blades pulling down to my spine, or sorry, down to my hips, and then I'm gonna, as a result, be able to pull my chest up and forward. And we got all that because we were able to articulate this and this. So we found shoulder blade depression with humerus external rotation, and then thoracic extension. And hopefully we got into a better position. Now time for the fun part, if you haven't heard fun already. So the yoga block goes underneath your sit bone, and I like to have my hands on the floor. My hands go on the floor because I can sense when I'm leaning to one side and using a poor strategy for neck movement. First thing I'm going to do is pull my chin all the way down to my chest. And I'm going to feel that stretch on the back of the neck. I'm going to scrape my chin across my clavicle, drop my ear across my shoulder, pull my face up to the ceiling, and bring my chin all the way to the other clavicle, and scrape through. Go to the other side, the other direction, and move the neck in a full circle. I like to do this even reps, 5 and 5 usually. The whole time I think that I'm getting taller through the crown of my head. It is lengthening upward. So really make an effort to feel that length, express it, move through these joints. And now we're going to do the same thing for your T-spine. We'll stay in this position. If you have a hard time in this position, you're welcome to also go to a seated position in a chair. Get a yoga block between your knees so you can squeeze it. You can also do this in various other positions. Those are, however, progressions, and the regression to this is sitting. So please take a seat if you need it. I'm going to stay like this, and I'm going to hug myself. So please watch one rep before you begin, as it does kind of get confusing, but it's just very similar to the neck motion that we just did. So you'll pull your chin down to your chest, flex your spine as much as you can, turn as far as you can. I can't go any further If I tried to go any further, I'd tip forward and off the yoga block. And then I'm going to take this left shoulder of mine, drop it backwards as far as I can. I notice my movement constraint. I can't go any further. So I'm going to start moving and pulling my chest up to the ceiling, dropping my shoulder, rotating back around, and I've completed a half a cycle. So I'm going to rinse and repeat to the other side. And the first time you do this, I do want you to make it very jagged. So flex, rotate, stop, drop the shoulder, stop, pull the chest up, stop, drop the shoulder, rotate, back. So we have about 6 points of motion. Whew. And there you have it. That is just a basic spine mobility drill that I like to do as often as I need and as much as I want. You should do the same thing as moving your spine and your rib cage, which is what we just did, is very necessary. So if you've been following along, I have a few breathing drills in my library, and I would go and do the hook line breathing after this, as that is a great expansion drill for the entire body and also a way to sense it better. And we need all those things. So go and expand some more space in your compressed bodies and get to work.